Welcome back to the All Out NRL Fantasy Podcast, the Buy, Hold, Sell edition for this week in round 7. Apologies to anyone watching on the YouTube. The lighting is a bit poor, but it is all about the content rather than the viewing experience. Isn't that right, fellas?
Yeah, I agree to some extent. I'd say we're moderate-looking fellas. And if you turned away, then listen on Spotify, not YouTube.
Yeah, look, if you can't handle a strong 6, maybe even a week 7 on some days, then yeah, stop watching.
We move.
Good plug, fellas. Good plug. Look, we'll move on to why we are here. We don't muck around on this podcast. And let's start straight off with the buys and one who's playing on Thursday night, Shawnee Bloor. Now, fellas, Bloor is named to start. He got 70 on the weekend. Joe Chan seems to be the concern. He is on the bench. What are your thoughts on Bloor?
Yeah, I got Bloor for my team last week. Got a good 70. It's definitely a concern. I'm just worried that Katoa is the edge back rower that they're confident will get 80. And I think that means Bloor will probably get 60.
Yeah, Katoa seems to be locked in for 80 minutes, so I'm thinking Chan will come on for Bloor, but a 50-minute, 60-minute Bloor is still a pretty good option, I think. So
his break-even's 16. So if you get 60 minutes, he'll make your money, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and he's a pretty good scorer.
I think he had a bit of a niggle last game. He sort of looked like he was maybe injured with something.
I think he got a stinger.
So, yeah, stinger. So, I don't know. Maybe they're just a bit worried about his 80-minute potential. But
Now, the glory of this week, fellas, is that we can do 3 trades rather than your normal 2. And one man that's looking as a good cash down option is Kale Aro. Now, we were wondering if he was still going to get that centre spot when all the forwards came back from injury for the Sharks. He has. Are you guys getting him this week with a low break even?
Yeah, buy.
Yeah, absolutely buy. He passes the eye test. He passes the stats test. I think he's a pretty much a must-have.
I'd say looks-wise, he's probably an 8.
Yeah, and he's got
and
aura.
that always helps. Yep.
He passes the aura test, so that's a
Good,
that's a big
great
test.
aura.
Yeah,
The only
aura.
concern is Talakai still looming on the bench, but, I mean, you just got to take a risk on him.
Yeah, I think it's worth
His
the risk.
break-even's -7. Likey.
He seems to be the buy of the week, and he would be the buy of the week if you didn't pick up Angus Crichton because he is playing 80 minutes on the edge. Must have, boys. There's really not much else you can say about him.
Yeah, I just wanted to wait and see if Gus was going to play 80 again, and he did, and he played extremely well. So, yeah, I'm getting him as well.
477k.
Yeah.
So.
You basically have to get him. I want to say he's back, but I feel like he was never actually out of form in the last few years. I think it was just those off-field issues that, I mean...
It was off-field issues and also the logjam at second row, but I think he's clearly established himself as the key second row there. So
well, it's clearly established Tupanua is not the answer.
No.
It's Gus Bus.
Yeah, and Wong's out of favour, so I think it will be Gus Bus and Butcher moving forward by the looks of it.
Now, these 2 from the New Zealand Warriors, it's always helpful to get some Warriors players in, but this man might be tipped to play Origin over some reports from people in New South Wales. Sean Johnson, not him, but Wade Egan. Both of them are cooking. Wade got 70 on the weekend. Johnson just keeps doing what Johnson does. Are they looking at 2 buys you guys are looking at for this week or maybe in the future?
Look, if Wade Egan could string together 4 or 5 games healthy, he'd be a buy almost every year. That's his only issue. His on-field product, 80 minutes, gets through. I think he got like 51 tackles last game.
Yep.
Attack, try assist. Like he's elite, but it's just the health that worries me.
I'm really liking both of them. They have a nice draw coming up as well, Dragons and then Titans. I can see SJ absolutely eating against those 2 teams. Like the one thing with getting SJ is, you know, he's a premier half, but
still Cleary
generally he's not as good as a Cleary. Could rival Hines maybe, but
He's a bit of a pod option though.
But he is a pod.
I mean, if you don't have like a Foggy or a Dylan Brown, you're looking for someone that's a bit of a pod, then yeah, SJ's a great call.
That's all I had for the buys, boys. Is there anyone else that really hits your mark? Otherwise, we'll move on to the holds for round 7.
I wouldn't say he's a buy necessarily, but I saw a lot of questions in our DMs about CNK. Back-to-back 60s.
Mate,
I said he's never been like a top 3, top echelon winger fullback scorer, but that suggests, geez, he might be.
Well, on a strong Warriors side and his work rate, he had like 30 runs on the weekend. He's definitely a good option as a pod, I think.
Yep. I call this just with the buys. I'll quickly say who's hot on the NRL fantasystats.com website. I wonder who does that, by the way. Is that NRL?
Yeah, it's handy. It's very handy.
That's great. Xavier Willison's hot. He he exploded on the weekend.
Yeah, he
got a
56,
try.
Break even of negative
Still
4.
worry about like bench forwards and consistent minutes.
Mm.
But if you're looking for like mid coverage, then he's not going to disappoint you, I guess, with his PPM.
I am personally avoiding him just because Payne Haas is coming back relatively soon. And he is on the bench and he scored a try. So I just don't know about his upside going forward. But if you have to, then it's not the worst option.
And a couple of Raider cheapies. Chevy Stewart. Looks like he has a bit of ticker.
He does have something about him, old Chevy. I think in the long run he's going to improve, obviously. It was his first game of the year.
I'd say aura-wise, it was a pass mark.
It was a pass
I'd
mark.
pass
It was
him
a
on
pass
Murray,
mark.
yeah.
Schiller, I think he might have arrived.
Yeah,
He
Schiller's
got
elite.
39 with 2 tries. But geez, he finds that white line.
Yeah,
He does find
he's
the
a great
line,
finisher,
yeah.
Schiller.
Look, about Stewart, though, quickly. He got 26 on the weekend. He did look involved. It'll be interesting to see what he gets this week, but it's just a wait and see. He's not going to go rapidly in price. So.
Simple answer is you're getting Ira, you're getting Gus Bus, and if you want to use that third trade like me, you're getting a little pod piece like Tofu Harris.
I'd also like to hear, your thoughts, boys, on Bronson Cherry. Looked pretty good on the weekend, I thought. What do you reckon about him?
Yeah. I think he's nailed his spot. Tracy's now at fullback for Taff. He got 2 try assists on the weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong. He got 59 points. So if he can keep that up, then big time.
Definitely a watch.
He looks like he hadn't missed a beat in terms of when he
He's put on
left
some,
the game.
Yeah, he's put on some size as well. I wonder how he did that.
He looks bigger.
Yeah, he looks real big.
That's a question for the other for further down the track. Moving on to the holds. Now Murray has the bye. Also had that head knock, which means he will be back in next round. But it's just that decision where you trade Murray to now Hines, or you trade him to someone that's going to get you that upper echelon sort of points. Are we holding him, boys, or are you selling? As an owner, I'm probably going to be selling him idiotically, probably. But
I mean, I was facing a similar predicament last week with Teddy. And it's so tough with those type of ones. Like, I know Murray is going to be a keeper the whole season. Like, I know at some point, if I trade him, I'll be looking at him,
Getting
after
him back,
Origin, be like, geez, I might get Cam Murray. I think I'm going to hold just because, I mean, he got a HIA, failed his HIA. Outside of that, he's only had 1 score under 50.
Oh, the scoring is not the problem.
Yeah.
It's more just like the makeup of your side.
That's what I was about to say. It depends on the makeup
I
of
need
your
some
side.
mids. I don't have May.
It depends on how well you're going in your head-to-head. Like, if you're going really well and you can afford to keep him around, then definitely do it. But I wouldn't blame someone for selling him either. With Origin coming
I've held Cleary, so I'm more likely going to be selling him.
That's
Another one I got here, boys, is RTS. Now, RTS has scored about 40 points every single time he's got a try.
consistent.
He's consistent 40s. Is he keeping it with the all-out team? I don't know. I think he might be a sell when we get Hines, for example. We try and get Cleary back.
I think it might be a bit of a luxury trade to get rid of him now, but...
Well, I just spoke about the Wires draw.
Yeah, the
He'll
draw.
sneak a few tries in against those teams.
Yeah.
Although
yeah.
the Red Viv arrived.
And Blaze Talagi's been named, boys, for the Eels on the bench, though, which is a bit of a disappointment for, I guess, money making. But if you're struggling to fill 17 like I am with the centres, then he might be a good buy.
Hopefully he plays decent minutes, but knowing Brad Arthur, he'll give him like 5-10 minutes towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I saw so many people saying, "Oh, do I sell Blaze?" And it's like, if you're going to sell him, wouldn't you have done it last week? When like, did you really expect him to come straight back into the starting team after 1 round?
Yeah, you might as well wait and see what minutes he actually gets.
Breaking in with 13, I can see him get 20 minutes, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd hold.
That's all I've got for the holds this week. Moving on for the sells, Campbell has been injured again, out for a month. He can't take a trick, this young fella, unfortunately. Burbo also injured, and the man who cost many teams, Hutcho. We've got all them as sells this week.
I mean, we're talking about aura.
Hammer
Does
as well.
Does Hutcho have that aura?
Hutcho's got some Mitchell Orbison about him.
Hutcho has negative aura.
He's got utility aura.
Yeah,
and that's his role.
Yeah, and he's a 14. He comes on and plugs a hole, make tackles.
One thing about Hutcho, he got a century. He dropped a century playing
when
for the Roosters. He got 100 points, and everyone's like, "What the?"
Well, that's like,
that gave a bit of logic to people getting him this year, but
Hutcho getting 100 points is like it's like Malachi Flynn scoring 50 points in the NBA just out of nowhere.
there's been some rogue high point scorers. Like Kurt Capel 1 year got 120.
Really?
Yeah.
You must got a hat trick or something.
It was when tackle bust for like 3 points.
But they're all obvious sells, so I really don't have anyone else down as a sell for this week. It was just buys for this buy, hold, sell, really.
Hammer, JC,
Hammer,
same
yeah.
Hammer,
logic.
yeah, Hammer, yeah.
I saw.
Danny Levi, if you still have him.
Yeah. I know we passed on the buys, but this is our man. We talked about ghosties last week. Smithies. I know we're going back to buys here and we're talking about sells, but I looked at him in our team and I had to speak on it.
Look, let's discuss Smithies because he deserves his own segment.
Hosking a sell, obviously.
Hosking gone, which makes Smithies' role increased. Then we go, Horsburgh's not playing, right? There's no Horsburgh. Smithies is getting 80 minutes. He's got 68 and then 64 or something like that. Do I dare say buy after everyone else sold him?
Yeah, he was one of the best holds.
I just
one of the great holds.
clicked on his profile. I looked at his melon. I like it. I'm getting him. I think 80 minutes, he'll be a 60 guy the whole year.
You know what I think? I think Ricky Stewart has said, mate, quit passing the bloody rock and just run the
fucking ball. Yeah,
just run the thing.
He's a good runner as well. They can't get him on the ground.
You got to demand the rock.
Yeah.
He's not running those ghosties anymore. He's getting the ball.
You know what? You can pass when you're close to the line if there's a gaping hole for a try assist.
I usually hate to sell and buy back, but I wouldn't blame anyone for doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great take.
Is there any more buys that we're really high on before we end the pod, boys?
I'll quickly go to stats and go to last three average because that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Joey Manu, wouldn't say back at centre, but like he can. You know, he's been good actually. We're talking about SJ, but he's a gun every year. DCE.
Yeah.
He is a gun.
He's somehow like a pod every year as well, even though he's just one of the best scorers.
Pitbull Senior, my dad literally gets him every year.
Yeah, he loves him. Absolutely.
And he sold him before he got back to back 80s.
Tough.
No, I wouldn't say Olakuatu's been consistent. My boy. I'm going to say Stefano because I can't pronounce his last name.
Utigamanu. How can you not pronounce that? Go on.
Utigamanu. Utoikamanu.
Stefano Utigamanu.
Apologies, Steph. Yeah, look, that's about it, to be honest, with the buys.
Yeah, agreed. Personally, I'm looking at not buying any guns at all because they're all injured. Like Haas, Cleary, Hines is on the decline, so I wouldn't buy on him just yet. So I think it's a stock the money kind of week.
Yeah, stock the money and wait for these guns who are going to come back, especially Cleary.
If you want to follow my advice, you're getting Smithies, you're getting Gus Bus, and you're getting Nairo. You're banking
getting
cash,
Tohu
and you
Harris.
get Cleary next week.
You're getting Hines this week. But that's all, boys. Buy, hold, sell for round 7. This will be out on Thursday. So we'll see you then.
Sweet.
Never a
See you,
chalk.
boys.